Hey guys, this is Alessio Summerfield, the host of Metal Gear Mondays, and you are listening to a backlog episode of Metal Gear Monday. So if you guys hear any mention of Geek Time, the Geek Time network is since defunct, and now Metal Gear Mondays is a part of the original lineup of podcast shows from Forever and Astronaut. If you guys want to take advantage of our Patreon to get really cool exclusive content and speak with other fans, as well as talk directly to the hosts and the guests, you can go to patreon.com/foreveranastronaut. $5 a month on Patreon will get you access to all of our original shows, including Dev Diary Season 1 and future shows. So if you want to support the studio and support content like what you're listening to, please be sure to go to patreon.com/foreveranastronaut or foreveranastronaut.com to check out the rest of our lineup of shows, as well as short films, blog posts, and other goodies. If you want to write into the show, the new write-in information is contact@foreveranastronaut.com, or you can utilize the facebook.com/Metal Gear Mondays. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Metal Gear Mondays, the podcast where we play the games for you in a book club style fashion, and the games in question are Metal Gear games, hence the title of the podcast. This week, as in every week, I am joined by Samuel Wright.
I have graduated from amoxicillin to codeine, and that is the first album of the new album from Sam Wright and the Mouth Disasters.
Easy. And Isaac Lim.
Gluten-free and organic, non-GMO,
Locally sourced?
locally sourced. No. Exported.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I don't want
no.
anything to do with that.
It's gluten-free.
I know, but then it wasn't locally sourced.
Okay.
So what is even, like, not being locally sourced automatically makes it have gluten again?
Exported from the neighboring town.
And your locally sourced host with the most, Alessio
Whoa.
Summerfield. What's up, guys?
You're not even locally sourced. You're not from St. Louis. Get the fuck out of here.
That's true. I'm like you, Sam. I have no... never mind. So, anyway.
What? I see where you were trying to go with that one.
Yeah.
But good job, though.
So, if you can't tell, we're all a little punchy and a little sleepy. It's been a long week, so we're going to grit our teeth and get through this episode with all of you guys. Hopefully it'll be enjoyable. If you are coming at us from last episode, then you know damn well what we're covering. If you are new to the table or can't read the title of the podcast you just clicked, we are covering the VR missions, extras, and Snake Tales associated with Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. Originally released for the Xbox, and then re-released for the PS2, and then ported from a port for the PC, and then ported again for the HD remaster on the PS3 and the Vita. Yeah, so we're going to break this into three sections. So first section, we're going to kind of go through what the hell everything is and what all the extras included in the game are. Second section, we're going to go through like personal, what each of us played. And keep in mind, we did not play all of these things to completion. We just kind of dove in, got a little taste, and then jumped out.
Don't say to completion. It's uncomfortable.
And then part 3, we're going to talk about Snake Tales. So we're going to make a whole separate part out of that because they are not what I remembered, and
I tried telling you what
ridiculous. They were. Well, I
tried telling you what they were, and you didn't listen to me.
Well, I knew vaguely what they were, but I didn't realize like how. We'll get into it.
Hard?
No, it's not even hard. It's like, so I'm gonna be honest. I didn't finish any of them, but after I played each part, I looked it up online, and it's like fucking bad fan fiction level bad.
No, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, okay. Anyway, we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, so I'm just gonna roll through some of the modes, and you guys feel free to chime in if you have things to say about them. But we can get more in depth once we kind of talk about what we each kind of personally did. So, anyways, besides the main game, Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance was a re-release of Metal Gear Solid 2 because people were complaining that there wasn't enough content after you beat the game. And so there is obviously, which is typical with Metal Gear, there's VR missions, except instead of just being 10, there's like over 200 in the game. So they're broken into the following modes, and you can play them as, I believe, 6 different characters. There's 3 for Raiden's kind of section and 3 for Snake's section. And they're just kind of reskins, but you have to play through all the VR missions with each of them to unlock the rest of them, which is crazy. But if you like unlocking shit, it's a ton of fun. But we have, and this is in no particular order, we have the sneaking mode, which is like the standard VR mission, no weapons, just from point A to point B. I assume we all at least played some of those. There is the hold up mode, which is the sort of the same thing as sneaking, except you have to hold up all the guards to kind of neutralize them exclusively. Then there's weapon mode, where it's the same thing as sneaking yet again, except you have guns, and there's also like target practice and stuff. There's eliminate all, where you have to kill everybody before you can move on. Bomb disposal mode, which is just like the bomb disposal in the main game, but like in different maps. There is a photo mode, which makes a return from the original VR missions, where it's just you taking pictures with a camera to kind of complete the game. And then there's variety mode, which is essentially a bunch of varying missions. It's either you killing shit with limited ammo, or you not being able to see enemies, or you blinding people to get to the goal, or you fighting giant guards that look like Godzilla, or one of the better ones, you protecting a bowl of curry from guards with a sniper rifle. But yeah, so, and then there's the Snake Tales, which we'll get into, which is essentially Snake in the big shell environment because people were complaining that they couldn't play a Snake. There's boss...
Except for one of them randomly.
Yeah, it's weird. And then there's a boss rush mode where if you want to, you can just fight all the bosses back to back to back on differing difficulty levels. It's a weird phrase, I'm sorry. And then there's casting theater, which we've talked about before, but you can kind of replace people in select cutscenes with different models, and that ranges from like Metal Gear Solid 1 characters all the way to like completely different characters that never made it into the game, like Meryl or Mei Ling. You can do some funny shit with it. And then there's the skateboard mode.
My favorite.
It's real good. Complete with like rock and roll punk rock version of the main theme for the game.
Oh my, which is amazing.
It's so good.
I'm mad that you mentioned it because I wanted to mention it.
Sorry. And I'm going to cue that right here.
Yeah, please. Essentially all it is sort of like the Evolution skateboarding game that Konami put out in the early 2000s, but like with a Metal Gear skin. But yeah, and it was not on the Xbox and PC, it was just on the PS2 version, and then all the HD collections for all the different systems got it once they released. So, but yeah, so that is sort of the gist of it. I know that we had mentioned that there was kind of like a special options mode where you could read books. One of them was Natasha, her book, sort of side character from MGS1. And then there was a first-hand account of like a reporter sneaking into Shadow Moses that was like several hundred pages as well. And then there are a couple little like snippets of news stories and stuff that you can unlock. So let me tell you a quick anecdote. So me as a kid, I had the original version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
and I also had a strategy guide for Substance. So imagine me being a young kid looking at all the cool shit you could do and not being able to do it because I had the original version of the game and not understanding why and being very sad about it.
Yeah, that sounds like, I don't know. Like, did you ever consider, like, whenever you were trying to figure out what the hell was going on, did you ever think to yourself, like, did I not get the second disc that was supposed to come with the game?
Which, you know, as somebody who has had experience with second discs, yes, that was the thought that crossed my mind. It was just really depressing. I think I was my dad was like, this is not the right guide for the right version. And I was like, man, and I think that's what wound up me getting the right version of the game.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember, so to this day, for the record, I have never played Leon Kennedy's version of Resident Evil 2.
Whoa, really?
Because I bought a copy of Resident Evil 2 secondhand at like a antique mall or like a flea market. And it only had the one disc, and I never realized that the other disc never came shipped.
Ah, dude, Leon's version is way better than Claire's.
Yeah, so I've only ever beaten the game with Claire. So I want to rectify that, but yeah, I've never gotten around to it.
Well, damn.
Well, sweet. So that's the conclusion of this section. Now let's dive into personal experiences with this stuff. Isaac, since you are completely fresh, and because I just want to put you on the spot.
Certified fresh.
Yeah.
I'm here for you.
How much of this did you play? What were your thoughts? Did it feel difficult? Did it feel tacked on? Did it just kind of feel reductive instead of adding?
Well, you're gonna be disappointed in me. I didn't play a whole lot.
Oh, how much did you play?
I did the VR missions.
Okay.
I did the sneaking VR missions for Raiden.
How many of them did you do?
I think I did them all. There's like 10 of them, right?
I think so.
They got pretty hard.
Yeah.
But I got them. Not too bad. I mean, I feel like they were kind of like an extension of the... Was there VR missions in the first one?
Yeah.
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 I feel like Isaac's homeroom teacher, and I'm collecting homework, and his is the first one that I'm asking for, and he's like,
he's in the back, like
he's
like in the back trying to do it 5 minutes before class starts, and you're like, Isaac, your homework, please.
That has actually happened to me before in school.
Oh, that happened to me like every day.
Yeah, every day,
like even on the weekends. It was weird.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why my teacher was at my house. But
yeah, it was. Or anyway.
Well, what did you think of like because you didn't play any of the VR missions for one, did you?
I did actually. I mean, it was just 10 of them, right? Were there more?
Not counting VR missions is like a separate game. But
yeah.
Because like I think VR missions as a game had like over 150. Or
right.
something.
But like the ones in MGS1.
Yeah, on the disc.
Yeah, I did
played
those.
Sweet. How did it compare to that? I mean, other than it being like cool, fresh new graphics.
Awesome. I felt like it was a little bit. It was a bigger. All the different levels were a little more thought out, I think. I'm trying to remember MGS1. 2 maybe.
I think that sounds right, because I felt like 1 was super
basic,
minimal. Yeah,
I feel like I like flew through 1, whereas 2 it had like the little timer or whatever on you, and it took me quite a while.
Yeah,
to get through them all.
Did you guys hear Rose or Colonel Campbell congratulating you?
Yeah.
I can't remember who's the voice for like the number 1 spot. Do you remember, Sam?
Oh, I have no idea.
I think it's Rose.
Oh.
Rose is just like, "Great job, Jack," or whatever she says.
Well,
but I think if you get like second or third place on the little timer, Colonel Campbell's just like,
"Good job."
Yeah, he's like, "Mission accomplished, Raiden," or some stupid thing.
So I'm gonna give you a cue here. I want you to cue the MGS2 VR missions song, because we tweaked because we toyed with the idea of actually changing the theme song going into season 2 to that. And we decided against it due to brand recognition.
Well, because it sounded too different.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
because Ghost Babel and I think Ghost Babel and like another song, it may have just been Ghost Babel, is like identical to the original theme, but this one was like way different.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't even like a remix of the same one. It was just like, anyway, cue it here. Do the thing.
Well, spoiler alert.
Boop, boop, boop.
Spoiler alert. I probably will play it before we start talking in this episode.
Cue it here anyway.
I hope you guys are ready for.
I want to
encore.
hear it twice. Nope, 3 times. Cue it here.
You guys are the worst.
Isaac, you're my hero.
I still love that in one of the fan letters we got, it was just like, cue it here. But that was last week's episode, so go back to that one if you want to hear that moment again.
Are we still talking about VR missions?
Yeah,
Did we
Sam,
roll
yes.
past
Sam,
that?
can you
Yeah.
pick up on Isaac's slack since he just dropped the ball?
No.
I don't even know if there was a
because-
ball to drop.
Because of all the things that we talked about, the VR missions were the ones that I didn't play.
Hey!
I did literally everything else, and then I was like dealing with my mouth emergency, and I was like, I can't focus on anything anymore, and then we had to record the podcast.
Did
Were
you
you-
did you play any of the extra content way back when?
Way back when I did, but I vaguely remember it.
Well, can you walk me through your vague recollections so that it's not an hour and a half of me talking about what I did?
Oh my god, it's just VR missions, dude. You sneak that shit.
Which do you remember doing all the other? Because I only did sneaking. Do you remember doing the other modes?
I remember doing the hold up mode, which was pretty much going through and holding dudes up instead of sneaking past them. I don't know what the fuck you want me to tell you.
I'm just getting opinions.
Well, I'm not even just.
I'm like
I'm
that
not even.
kid.
That was-
I'm not even just talking about VR missions though. Like talking about like boss rush, casting theater.
Oh, well, that's stuff like that. I
everything.
thought we were just talking about VR missions. Yeah, I played the rest of it.
Okay. Well, tell me about that. Except
Well,
for
I
Snake
like-
Tails, because we're saving that for the end.
God damn it. I love boss rush. I always like boss rushes in games because bosses are usually my favorite parts of the games because they just feel like a natural like conclusion to a section of a game. And Metal Gear Solid 2's bosses were actually a lot more unique, I think, than they're given credit for, just because they were so weird. Like, they didn't feel like, except for like maybe 2 of them, they didn't feel like traditional boss battles in a sense like that. So going through them and seeing like exactly what was going on with them at the time was actually pretty interesting. So I like doing the boss rush.
Isaac, since we opened the floor to the other things, did you do any of the other things?
Yeah, I was gonna backtrack, and I did not just do VR missions. I thought we were just talking about VR missions.
Yeah, Alessio.
My bad.
Man,
Sorry,
Make
guys.
yourself clearer.
but I didn't do much more than that. So
Did you do the boss rush, man?
I didn't. I was gonna. Okay, so based on what
I don't want to
you-
hear about what you were gonna do. I'm kidding.
Based on what
But being
you
mean to Isaac.
based on what you had said, what like Snake Tails and all that entailed, I thought it wouldn't take too long to do. And then I watched a video, I think this afternoon, and this guy had done all the extras in MGS2,
What was it?
and
Like
it totaled
an 8 hour?
it was 8 hours.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said an hour.
Oh no. Yeah, no. I also realized that. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I didn't want all of us to like necessarily finish it. I
No,
just
no,
kind of
yeah.
figured we could all kind of talk a little bit.
Okay.
about it.
So yeah, but I did. Let me see. I did the casting theater,
Lol.
which was pretty crazy.
Which
Casting theater
although-
was always my favorite.
This is one of those things where it's like, did you guys play the original Tony Hawk's Underground?
Yes.
Way
So,
back when, yeah.
so in that game, if you got it like on release, you could actually take a picture of yourself and mail it to Neversoft, and they would like, I can't remember how it worked. It was like You took a picture of yourself, you mailed it to Neversoft, and you got like a save file. Either that or it was like, I know it wasn't with the PlayStation Eye because I didn't have a PlayStation Eye. I think it was through their website or something. But anyway, you could import your face into Tony Hawk's Underground. And this is one of those times where I wish that they had done that in other games because it would have been hilarious to be able to cast yourself in Metal Gear Solid 2.
That would have been good.
I would have loved
Anyway, but let me see. I did the opening cutscene, and one thing I noticed was they didn't switch the character. You know when Snake is just walking across the bridge in his like raincoat or whatever and his hood? They didn't switch the character there, which I thought was odd. It was only like when he jumped off the bridge.
I wonder if it's because like the code treats that as like a separate character model.
Maybe. Because of he had the code on. It could have been. I just thought that was odd.
Who'd you change it to?
Fortune, because it was it was the next one over. I was like, oh, okay. But then I chose who was it? It was Snake and Ocelot, I think.
Yeah, you should be able to change the guards as well, I think.
Yeah, I changed them both to Fortune. And it was Fortune arguing with herself or conspiring against herself. I thought that was hilarious.
This is a metaphor for
My favorite my favorite one to do is to replace Vamp in the scene where he's introduced for the first time, where he's like slaughtering all the seals. Keeping the seals the same, but replacing Vamp with the middle-aged lady with the blue dress. It's the funniest shit. Oh, it is so good.
I think it's also it's fun to do that with Metal Gear Solid 1 Snake because it's like this really weird, like if you can imagine what a game character would look like in real life, it just gets really creepy. It's like, what is this heavy breathing pixelated monstrosity?
That's pretty good.
No, it's so good. It's like, I don't know. I just like replacing. What did I do one time? I replaced in the Solidus versus Raiden scene. I replaced Raiden with Solidus and Solidus with Raiden. Just because I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's weird to me that was a thing that they shipped with it, but there's so much enjoyment to be had from it.
I thought it was really cool. I've never seen any game do that before, so
I wonder if it's because like in today's games they all are like mocapped, but in older games they just like
models.
Yeah, they just like animate the wireframe or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
But it would be good to see something like that in like a modern game. It'd be fun.
The one thing that killed it for me, and I guess the game itself wasn't that good at it anyway, but the fact that the replacement characters don't move their mouths.
Oh yeah.
Like Metal Gear Solid 2 was not famous for having great mouth to dialogue matching, but like they just don't move their mouths at all.
If they would have moved their mouths, it would have made the Metal Gear Solid 1 Snake way creepier than he was.
Yeah.
Because it's like he doesn't even do that in the game.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, jeez. Did you guys play the skateboarding mode?
Oh, I always play the skateboarding mode.
Dude, it's really good.
This is what it's fucking that fucking punk cover of the theme song.
Oh, it's so good.
I forgot that was a thing that was in the game, and I was just like, oh man, this is just like this, and like it has a generic punk music, and then I heard the I was like, oh my god, I forgot, and I got really excited.
The thing that sucks is like it times you or whatever.
Yeah.
So like you can't really hear the whole song unless you somehow like stay comboing after the timer runs out. The thing that this reminded me was that fucking every skateboard game that isn't Tony Hawk sucked ass in like the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Because like I really desperately like I was playing this and I was like, please feel like Tony Hawk, and it just 100% does not.
No, not at all. It's kind of bad, but it's still like honestly can't complain. I'm watching Solid Snake skateboard on the big shell.
Oh yeah. What's
And it
cool-
was really cool. Like, it reminded me, like, it just made me think, I was like, this would be like a really awesome level on a Tony Hawk game.
yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I like how the ciphers can spot you, and you hear like the fring, and then they like shoot at you while
Yeah, and
you're
then
skateboarding.
and then if you like ram into them, I think that's one of the missions you can do is like ramming into them and breaking them.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like skateboarding on the helipad as well.
Yeah, and there's like one where like if you go the ramps and you go up the ramps through the Semtex sensors and you have to go through all three of them. And when you go through all three of them, like the big shell blows up.
Oh yeah,
And that's one of the missions. And then you're just back to skateboarding. It's incredible.
it's pretty good. I almost wish that was just the main narrative of the game. Is like Raiden comes out of the water and he's got like a sick deck like taped to his back, and Colonel's like, Are you
the president needs you to
dropping?
ollie, I think.
The president needs you to drop in. And fucking amazing. Like, the president's been kidnapped by ninjas. Raiden, you need to skate your way to freedom.
Are you a bad enough dude to nollie for the president?
Oh my god. That's fucking amazing. One thing that's becoming extremely evident is that, like, hey guys, Metal Gear Solid 3 does not have as dope of extras as this.
No,
Like,
God, no.
I mean, there's some great shit in Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, like all the extra goofy videos. Oh my god, there's some really funny comedy videos.
Isn't there like a video that's like just one of the cutscenes, but like it zooms in on a character's boobs and like puts a pink filter?
I think so.
Over it?
It's there.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called, but there's just like literally like an entire collection of just like fucking. Hey, we all got bored at work and made a bunch of silly versions of these cutscenes. Specific. Oh, I guess we can't talk about those because they're in the future. But I will say specifically, there is one clip where it's just the intro from the beginning of the game, except when the protagonist is supposed to like release a parachute and then they land on like the edge of a cliff. It's the exact same thing, except they fuck up pulling the parachute and just fall to their death, and then it's like the end. It's amazing. Like you watch like the whole 10-minute cutscene and it just ends like that. I died. Anyway,
Oh no.
Isn't so really quick too about MGS3? Is it Metal Gear Solid Snake Eraser? Wasn't
Yeah.
that the thing that came in 3?
yeah, that's one of the.
Okay,
It's so
that
good.
is like my favorite Metal Gear Solid related thing.
It's really
ever.
funny. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to get to that stuff. And I think a lot of it's on YouTube as well. So if you don't
Yeah.
have it, you can watch it. That's definitely like fucking like go watch that. Like don't listen to us talk about it because it's really funny.
Yeah. Well, unless you don't want to be spoiled, because that spoils some things from 3.
No, I mean like when we get to it. Like
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Definitely you have to watch it and hear us
Yes.
joke about it.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, is there anything else from the extra stuff that you guys feel like is worth talking about before we dive into the Snake Tales?
Not really. It's kind of all straightforward stuff. Like, even though me and Isaac didn't really touch on the VR missions a lot, they're pretty, like, they're VR missions. They are what they are.
Yeah. There's some funny shit in there, but it's kinda
Yeah.
takes
Well, it's
forever
just
to
like
get to.
there was funny shit in the original one too. You know, like that fucking murder mystery bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, which ones did you do, Alessio?
Well, I played through the sneaking for Raiden and Snake, and I think Cyborg Ninja Skin Raiden, or whatever the hell that second Raiden version is. And then I kind of oscillated between the different weapon modes, and then I think I got to the hold up mode with one of the characters, and I think that's about as far as I got. But I know with the weapon modes, if you go through them far enough, I think it's like the Stinger, one of the Stinger missile missions starts to get pretty goofy. And then I think I had some of the variety mode shit unlocked from before, and so I kind of dicked around with some of that stuff, but it was just kind of like sniping challenges and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, nothing major. I just kind of like bounced around. And nothing stood out to me, except there are a couple. I will say, to me, what makes them better than MGS1 is MGS1 didn't have, like, the stages on the original VR missions weren't, like, tiered. And specifically some of the maps in the Metal Gear Solid 2 VR missions, I really like them because it suddenly integrates this whole, like, you're in a 3-story building and there's shit going on, like, above and below you.
Yeah.
And it takes advantage of that, like, verticality in a way that makes it kind of fun. But besides that, I mean, they're just VR missions. So.
You said verticality really weird there.
I know. I like my mouth.
Verticality.
My mouth stopped moving halfway through.
Would you like to discuss our verticality?
Oh my gosh. I believe that what you're describing is horizontality.
Our verticality.
Oh my god.
Look, man, it's the fucking codeine. I'm just like,
Dude, you need
I'm on top of shit.
Can you send that as an attachment on an email?
What, codeine?
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do
What?
that.
Damn it.
Let me digitize
You
pharmaceuticals.
you can't mail drugs.
No, God, no.
It's fine. Put it up on a torrent site and I'll 3D print it.
I'm sure that works that way.
Sweet. All right, well, here we go. Snake Tales, the biggest wet fart in Metal Gear history. No, I don't know. Like, so obviously after the next side op, we're going to be talking about Metal Gear Acid, which is also pretty fucking lukewarm. At least the first one is. The second one's really good. But I want to say these Snake Tales might be like some of the worst Metal Gear Solid content, period.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's really bad.
So, the pretense of the Snake Tales and what I originally thought they were when I first
And
played
apparently
them years
same
ago,
here.
that they were placed in there as the ability to play as Snake, doing what he was doing while Raiden was in the plant, which is a badass idea and is not what we got.
Like, not at all what we got.
No, there's 5 different Snake Tales, and they're all enclosed scenarios, so they're not related to each other.
There's no fucking voice acting or codec calls or
Nope.
anything. There's like a wall of text at the beginning.
Yep, and all of the story is explained through walls of text.
Oh, not only that, but they reused voice assets. So, like,
Yeah,
spoiler
There's,
alert,
like-
Meryl shows up, but Meryl
But it's
has
just
Olga's
Olga.
voice. Yeah.
and her battle, you like fight her, and her battle is just Olga. It's Olga's boss battle.
Yeah,
it's even on the tanker in the same place.
Yeah, it's really weird.
But like the first one is like Snake has to rescue the president, and he has to meet up with Ames, and Ames is in strut F for some reason. So you sneak through, and you're sneaking through as Snake through, and you get to strut F, and you find Ames just standing in a room. And then you find out that Ames doesn't know where the president is, but they're being led by Fat Man, who is the terrorist leader, apparently. Mm-hmm. And Fat Man is now a disgraced Navy SEAL who turned into a mad bomber and became a professional criminal. And it's, yeah. So he like, the church bombing that Peter Stillman caused is Fat Man's fault now. And it was 3 years ago instead of however long ago.
Yeah. Also, Fat Man kills a shit ton of hostages if you... Like, I don't know. So there's this weird thing going on with these, and they all have their own titles. This one's called A Wrongdoing, but like,
Yeah.
they're all built in this fucking asinine way where you have to play through them twice.
Yeah.
Because
there's like so this one here has like 4 different endings where it's like if you go straight to fight Fat Man, he blows up the hostages, and then his battle, you can either kill him or not kill him. Mm-hmm. So that has like 2 endings that are slightly different, and then you can go straight and rescue the hostages, and you can freeze the bomb that he planted on the shell. And it introduces some completely new character named Jennifer,
who like only communicates via text messages, which is really weird.
Well, she's tied up.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's like the weird cell phone item that made an appearance for 5 seconds in the main game suddenly becomes like a main plot point.
Yeah. And then like you have another lethal ending and non-kill ending if you do that, and it's so fucking asinine.
Well, but like you have to beat it before you get the M9 to do the non-lethal way. And then they're all made... It's weird because the main game kind of didn't give a shit if you killed people or not. But in these side missions, it's almost like to get the real endings, you have to not kill people. which makes more sense. But at the same time, it's like to hide the M9 behind like a victory wall and then make you play the exact same really fucking difficult content twice. Because you don't have a radar and you can't turn it on.
And like all the guards are super hardcore.
Yeah, like you breathe and they fucking destroy you. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty weird. But yeah, so that one's less weird because it's almost like
Well, that was, but like the way it ends is that like Ames, like it was working with the terrorist and like helped the president escape and organized the whole thing because Fat Man, like his sister was in the church when Fat Man bombed the church. And no, I'm being serious. This is how it was. That's how it went. And like, and the whole, he set up the whole thing, so that Snake would come in and kill Fat Man.
because you know
like,
that's the logical like next step in framing
Right.
somebody.
so if you go straight to kill Fat Man, like if you kill him, he blows him up, and Snake's like, oh no, everybody's dead. If you go straight to Fat Man, he kills everybody, and then you don't kill Fat Man, but Ames comes and just shoots Fat Man, and then Snake's like, oh my god, everybody's dead.
Yeah, and keep
And
in
then
mind
if
none
you-
of this shit is animated either.
Yeah,
It's
none
like
of it. It's just all-
text.
Yeah. And then if you like go straight to it, like you find out all this stuff about his fucking sister.
Who
and
is
then if
Jennifer, right? Or something.
No, his sister died in the thing.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah,
I know
Jennifer's
that
like
Jennifer
some
plays
person.
into it in some stupid way.
Yeah. So it's like I think the way the story describes it, if you do a lethal kill on Fat Man, this whole elaborate revenge plot ends with Ames disappearing, and then Snake proceeds to search the shell and the entire world for Ames, but he's completely disappeared.
Yeah. So Ames becomes Ocelot in this
Yeah,
Snake Tale.
yeah. And then if you do a non-lethal on this one, it's like Ames like gets arrested, but he says he asks Jennifer to like for another chance to kill Fat Man, and she refuses. And Ames is like, "Well, I'll find another way to exact my revenge on Fat Man." It was like, what the fuck?
Because you know that's all shit that we cared about and wanted
Yeah.
to see
No, absolutely.
expanded upon. I really wish that one of the canon Metal Gear games, which by the way, none of these Snake Tales are canon, obviously, but I really wish that like one of the main line, like what if MGS5 came out and we played it and we were all just like, well, that's weird. I don't remember any of this shit. And then you're like, oh wait, it's a direct sequel to the third Snake Tale. Like that would have been
would've-
amazing.
You know what? I would have been like super excited if like the last one, that external gazer one,
Oh god.
was a real thing, because that's my favorite.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's what I meant when I said bad fan fiction. So anyway, moving on to the second one. The second one is called Big Shell Evil, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
Not at all.
It's pretty uneventful, except the whole point is that Otacon asks Snake to go look for Emma, and we go to the Big Shell, and we do that, and for some reason she's hiding in the food pantry closet, and we somehow she gets lost.
Where the same one where Peter Still Black Man was hiding.
Yeah.
For most of the game.
And Snake tries to rescue her, and then one thing leads to another, and she kind of goes missing again. They keep talking about the ghost of the Big Shell and who this weird mystery character is. And in the middle of all this shit, there's apparently the Russian terrorists that are present. They're not terrorists; they're a
They're
crime.
the fucking mob.
Yeah, they're the mob, and they're dealing drugs out of the Big Shell, which doesn't make
And
any sense.
And my favorite part of this whole thing is that they can't hide the drugs for shit, so they're just putting them on the conveyor belts in the Strut E parcel room and hoping that nobody touches them. It's like they're so inept. That's the way that they have to fucking hide the shit.
Let's keep it going. Yeah, and then like the endings, it's like bad ending. Like whatever. Like Emma totally reunites with Otacon. And
Yeah.
it's like
no, it's like you find out like the fuck, I don't even know how to explain this because it's so
please just don't. Like my brain hurts.
it's like
already.
the ghost of the Big Shell was like a person who was like assassinating the the Russian drug people, and they were like freaking out about it because they thought it was like an actual ghost or something.
Because
and then like
stupid.
yeah, and there was like a rumor that it was like an employee of the Big Shell whose son died from a drug overdose, and then the son was like haunting the Big Shell or something like that, but it was just like an assassin. I don't know.
You're describing the good ending.
Was that the good ending?
Yeah, the bad ending doesn't say shit about the ghost of the Big Shell.
Oh yeah.
But they both end identically.
Yeah, where
So-
Emma recognizes the pilot and then reunites with Otacon.
Yeah. It's really dumb. And I also think it might be one of the only instances in Metal Gear where they talk about drugs.
Perhaps.
So it doesn't make any fucking sense. Sam, would you like to talk to us about Confidential Legacy, the Snake Tale with
not
Meryl?
really.
It's really bad.
So
We can like, if you want to talk about what happens, I want to talk about the fucking ludicrous Colonel Campbell Gerlukovich like love triangle.
Yeah,
that
okay.
Is at the beginning, at the main heart of this story.
right. So essentially, Colonel Campbell. This happens after Shadow Moses. Colonel Campbell visits Snake and says that Sergei Gerlukovich has seized a Marine tanker, and that they were on a secret mission in the South American Republic of what was it? Shit. It started with an E, I think. Whatever.
It's not
a
El
South
Dorado,
American.
but let's pretend that it is.
I feel like that was really close, so I'm just going to call it El Dorado. So they were in El Dorado, and that they had to go search for. They were like a Metal Gear weapon might have been involved in the issue.
Sure, why not?
I think so. And Snake he wants Snake to go like figure what's going on, but Snake is like no, because Campbell's only interested because he has a vendetta against Gerlukovich for some reason. But he tells Snake that Meryl is involved somehow, and Snake goes because that I guess she disappeared from his home 6 months ago.
Yeah. Hold
and
on, let's talk about that for a second. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says it in the little text breakdown. So without even like paying any attention to the fact that we haven't seen Meryl and know nothing about her, they're like, "Oh, by the way, she's been living with Snake and she ran away from home 6 months ago."
Yeah. So he goes and does that. So Snake infiltrates the tanker and
Yeah, keep in mind that there's still New York in the background.
yeah,
But we're
no, so
supposed
it's
to
supposed to be in
pretend-
South America. So that's crazy.
I wish every game was like that. Like, look, I know that in the background it's actually this thing, but if you read the manual, you should just close your eyes and pretend that it's this other
Yeah.
thing.
I get that we're supposed to be in Alaska, but let's just pretend that we're not in Florida right now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It's-
Sure, I'll suspend my disbelief. I can suspend my disbelief by a large amount, sir. But don't fucking tell me that New York is South America, okay?
Especially
No.
raining nighttime New
Yeah.
York.
So anyway, so like Meryl, he meets up with Meryl, and like her dad, Matt Campbell.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so they introduce a whole new character to Metal Gear
So my favorite
exclusively
thing
via
about this-
text.
Exclusively via text for the Snake Tail, knowing full well that as people who have played Metal Gear Solid 1 that Colonel Campbell is actually her father. But anyway,
Yeah.
Matt Campbell,
Good old Matthew Campbell.
yeah, died in El Dorado, and she joined the mission because of that.
Yeah, you forget to mention that she's actually on the side of the terrorists.
Yeah, no, you find that out later, like here shortly. But like he finds like Snake finds Metal Gear that's been like rusty and covered in dust and hasn't been used in however long. And
But they couldn't make a model for that, so you have to use your imagination.
right, no, so it's all text at this point. And then Colonel Gerlukovich shows up and is like holding Meryl hostage with a gun, and Snake's like, "Let her go," and he does. And then Meryl is working with Gerlukovich. And said that it was part of her father's dying wish.
For reasons.
Yeah, for reasons. And then Sergei tries to kill Snake, and Meryl's like, "You said that Snake was you wouldn't kill Snake, and Sergei's like, I lied, or something like that.
Well, actually, he doesn't. We just read that he does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. And it's just like this whole thing where it's just like Matt Campbell was
Just
like
that name.
Matthew.
he was like part of a project to develop a Metal Gear for El Dorado
Because
during
of
the Cold
course he
War.
was.
Yeah, during the Cold War, because like it was under the control of a pro-American dictator or something like that. I don't fucking know. And then like Matt Campbell I have to say
He's
it's
my
name.
favorite character in Metal Gear.
Matt
If anybody
Campbell
ever asks.
Matt Campbell went AWOL or for some reason and then I guess Sergei killed Matt Campbell for going AWOL or something like that.
But
And that's why
tells-
Colonel Campbell hates Gerlukovich.
Yeah, but apparently Gerlukovich tells Meryl that Roy Campbell killed Matt Campbell. Which
Yeah.
doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. And then Colonel Campbell tells Snake, it's like, that rusty old Metal Gear might still have nuclear weapons. So Snake goes and deals with that. And oh my god, and what am I even saying anymore?
If you'd like to replicate this experience and you don't want to play the Snake Tale, I strongly urge you to start the tanker, pause it as soon as you can play it, look at a Wikipedia entry on the paragraph, unpause it, play about 10 minutes, look at the Wikipedia next paragraph description, and just do that all the way through, and turn your volume off. And that is essentially the Snake Tale. Just
Yeah.
pretend that Olga is Meryl, and there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, so like Meryl was contacted by Gerlukovich, and she told him and he told her all these lies, and that's why she joined. And Snake was like, "Hey, he's lying to you," and she's like, "No." And then you have to fight her, and this is when you do the Olga battle, and it's the exact same battle, complete with the exact same voice clips as Olga from the tanker.
Yep.
And if you kill her, essentially, Gerlukovich comes up and is like, I was like, yeah, I lied to Meryl, and I'm using her to get revenge on Campbell, and I learned from Matt Campbell that Meryl's the most important person to Colonel Campbell, and I killed Matt because he was waiting for somebody to kill him, apparently. And then like Meryl, like her last act is like she wakes up and shoots Gerlukovich, and then like whispers her name and Snake's name and dies.
Yeah.
And then like the good ending is all that exact same thing happens. And then Meryl is arrested.
Because of course.
Yeah. The Metal Gear apparently was obsolete that Snake found. And then Campbell tells Snake is like, yeah, that's my daughter, even though he knew this already. And then explains that Matt Campbell went to El Dorado to get away from them for some reason, and then was exploited by Gerlukovich. And then Campbell goes to tell Meryl the truth, and Snake's like, maybe we'll be together again someday.
And she's like, yeah. So I'm gonna do a fun exercise real quick for the next one, which is Dead Man Whispers. So I feel like Sam is going really in depth into these really complicated and like incomprehensible things. So let's do this real quick. So Isaac, it's Dead Man Whispers is pretty generic and not a whole lot goes down. Can you tell me what you think it is? And I guarantee you that it'll probably be just as good, if not better, than what it actually is.
What's it called?
Right.
It's called Dead Man Whispers. Just take a stab. Like, literally any character in the Metal Gear
No,
universe.
seriously. Like, fuck
Just
it.
do
Make
whatever
up
the
characters.
fuck you want. Like,
Make up characters. Who gives a fuck?
yeah. Tell me about Matthew Snakeman.
Tell me about Peter Still Whiteman.
His
He's the
long
playable
lost-
character in this
Oh,
chapter. Actually.
sweet.
It's just Peter Stillman, but in whiteface.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. Anyway.
So in Dead Man Whispers,
Yeah, just go ahead. Just
You've
give it a
got-
shot.
you start out as Raiden, but then
It's called a snake tail, Isaac. You failed already.
no, you gotta listen.
The one
Hear me out here.
caveat is that it has to be It has to be Snake.
No.
Okay.
Not in this
Continue.
one, guys.
Continue.
You guys are missing the point.
Okay. Our mistake for destroying your artistic integrity. My
Yes.
bad.
I'm sorry.
So you start out as Raiden, and you're in where's it end at? Manhattan. You're
Sure.
walking. Yeah, you're walking down the streets of Manhattan. This is after the cutscene with you and Snake, if you
Okay.
remember. All right.
Yeah.
And so Raiden goes into a costume store because it's
Okay.
like close to Halloween or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what time it was, what time of year. It was kind of hard to see.
5:43.
Yeah. After
February
work.
12th.
Yep. He goes into a costume store, decides to buy a gimp suit and a snake mask.
All right.
So he puts the snake mask on, and that's how he's Snake.
Okay.
So now you're playing as Snake. And the whole point of this mission is you go around and you
What do you do, Isaac?
you go up to people and you want to whisper in their ears. And you get graded by how quietly you can whisper. So on the left hand side, there's a little like a decibel. What
Do you have
call
to
this?
use the built-in microphone on the PlayStation Vita?
This sounds like the plot of Sneak King, that Burger King game.
So and then you have to do this 50 times. That's the thing I hated the
Oh
most.
shit!
It's got to be really hard.
It's a lot of times.
And at the end of it, you get just a grade. Colonel Campbell comes by, and he
He
says,
comes by.
It just rides a bike past you.
He's just driving by. Hey, you did good. You did good.
Why is he whispering your rating to you?
He goes,
He's driving by. I can't hear him over the car.
he goes, A plus, A plus.
So who's the final boss of the snake tail? You gotta tell me the non-lethal and the lethal ending, Isaac.
Is there always an oh?
I'm dying. I'm dying. Help me. Help.
I didn't beat it, so I didn't get to that point.
Okay.
Good answer.
So that's so much better than what it actually is, which is just Vamp killing people.
Yeah, it's Vamp killing people and you killing Vamp. And in case you wanted to know, the Navy officer who had the suitcase chained to his wrist that we saw,
Is a key character.
his name is Captain O'Brien.
I was so close.
Conan's brother, Captain.
Good old Captain O'Brien. Late night with Captain O'Brien.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
That's the cough's back. That's for you, Nick.
So the last one, Sam, I'll let you take it away because
This is my favorite thing.
I
that's
don't
ever happened in
understand the
existence.
title, but this is quite possibly, this is like what happens when like DC Comics announces that there's going to be a multiverse like mega event in their next comic. Like this is bullshit, but it's really funny.
So it's it's called External Gazer, and I think that it's like we're outside looking in to like the multiple universes.
Yeah, but is it like a reference to a thing, or is it just a name?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But essentially, so they're testing Otacon's like virtual reality simulator at the Philanthropy Hideout, and Mei Ling shows up with a newspaper saying that there's a monster at the Big Shell.
Keep in mind again that we have to read this.
Yes, this is all text.
I really wish that they would have fucking done cutscenes.
Right. But that would have made it at least a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. That would at least make for some cool YouTube videos.
Yeah. No, so Snake's like, that's tabloid nonsense. But Otacon and Mei Ling convince him to go infiltrate the Big Shell to find this monster that is called Gurlugon.
Yeah, also, again, keep in mind, the only motivation Snake has to do this is a newspaper cutout.
Yeah, no, it's literally, it's like, why are you going on this mission? Because
TMZ said so.
Yeah. So this monster is called Gurlugon. And he's searching for Gurlugon, and he gets sight of Gurlugon. It turns out that Gurlugon is like Genola from the first game, which is just a giant Gurlukovich soldier, but is like, it's got fins and shit.
And it's swimming, and you gotta take a picture of it.
Yeah. So you get a picture of it, and Olga shows up, and it's like, I'm not the Olga you know. And she's like, Gurlugon doesn't belong in this universe, and tells Snake to check the VR system, and then she jumps into the ocean with her men to go get Gurlugon. So Snake goes back to the hideout, and Mei Ling is talking to, or Otacon explains this whole like parallel universe thing where like there's infinite number of possibilities that can happen and do happen throughout alternate separate realities. And a bunch of stuff like that. They talk about how the VR system is the cause of all these realities like breaking down. And the VR system is running on like a technology called the Copplethorne engine, I think it was called. It was invented by somebody named Dr. Copplethorne, and it's like this giant supercomputer. And no one knows how it works, but Mei Ling is like, maybe they search the space-time continuum, and then you can go into a parallel universe and play, and that's how it works.
Dang.
So you have to go into the system and kill Gurlugon. And then after you go in and you kill Gurlugon, Mei Ling's like, I'm Mei Ling from another universe, and I'm married to Solidus Snake. And she tricks Snake and Otacon to destroying Gurlugon so that the universes will remain converged together. And then Solidus shows up and blows up the hideout and then takes Mei Ling with him, which, mind you, I would like to reiterate is his wife. So Snake. So I'm sorry, it's just ridiculous. So
my only response to all of this so far is, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like I just want to run
like,
around outside with my pants off. Like, what?
Like, it's a lot of bullshit. I'm not bullshitting this out of my butthole. This is like actual stuff that they put into this video game. So they get in contact with this Olga from this other universe, and that they can find other singularities to help like counter the effects and restore the realities. So Snake goes into the VR system and starts searching for like singularities, except Solidus is trying to stop them because he's monitoring them. And then Solidus is like, look, this VR system that Otacon made combined with this engine can essentially control the universes. And Solidus wants to rescue his alternate reality selves from being killed in other universes. So he just wants to do that. So Solidus traps Snake in the VR system in the body of a young blonde man, and I don't think you play as this young blonde man, but we are led to believe that it's Raiden. And he experiences a bunch of shit, and then you're confronted by the Metal Gear Rays, and you have to destroy all the Rays, and then Snake shows up on the roof of Federal Hall, and then you have to do the battle with Solidus, except you're Snake, and you just have your fists. And then Snake kills Solidus.
With his fists.
With his fists. And then he goes back to the hideout. Olga returns to her own universe, and then the real Mei Ling, I guess, enters the office with another newspaper clipping. And look at Janola's back. People have spotted Janola. And that's fucking it.
Yeah, so I feel like the Snake Tales were a test bed for what would eventually become Metal Gear Solid 4.
I sure hope not.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, people give Metal Gear Solid a lot of shit for getting a little up its own ass and crazy ridiculous, and I feel like these Snake Tales are like what people perceive Metal Gear to be who aren't into Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Like, it's really bad. Like, good lord. Like,
It's terrible. And here's the thing, cutscenes and like voice acting would have made these bearable because they're so ridiculous that they would have been enjoyable. But the fact that you had to read all this shit, God.
yeah, it's pretty bad. Isaac, what'd you think of this fucking fever dream nonsense pouring out of our mouths?
Well, from what you guys are saying, I'm glad I only played half of one. So there's my thought. Okay, I played the first one, The Wrongdoing, and it was super hard because I was so used to the
Radar?
The radar. Yes, thank you.
Get ready for Metal Gear Solid 3 then.
Yeah, I know. So maybe this is getting you ready for MGS3.
I wouldn't give it that much credit.
Well, all right. I went ahead because I didn't know how in depth you guys wanted to go, but I went ahead. I played half of this, and I was like, all right, this is a little ridiculous. So I went and watched the ending of it, and the credits rolled, and apparently Kojima had done all of it.
What do you
So
mean? Wait, he like did all of it by himself?
Explains it.
This is why Koji Pro is a team.
This is why it's so bad because Kojima did it by himself.
No, it said like he directed it and wrote it, and I think something else, but
So he's not that great after all.
I guess not.
Wow. Yeah, it was really bad.
Kojima-san.
This is why he's a YouTuber now.
Yeah. What if he had ghostwriters for all of his?
That would be amazing.
MGS.
Oh,
For like his
man.
actual
Games.
work.
Yeah.
What if he ghost rides the whip? Sorry.
I don't know why I laughed at that because that was a really bad joke, but I thought it was really funny.
Oh no.
But yeah, so I guess in a nutshell, that's pretty much.
I can't wait to fucking listen to this episode back because, like, it's known that I'm on medication right now, and all that shit just sounds like I made it up in like a drug fever dream.
I'm just gonna edit out all of the other parts of the episode and just string together Sam reading about these.
Just like an introduction. Sam was on drugs for the entirety of this episode. This is what happened. It's like, yeah, and then Matt Campbell comes in and like, what? And he killed a dude?
He gives
And the other
everybody
dude killed
curry?
him? Yeah, there's like some curry and shit, and then like I love that part where like it was the punk metal cover of the theme song, and like and then Janola, like what?
We had to put Sam to sleep after this.
Sam is no longer with the podcast. Oh my god!
No, we'll just slowly not ever talk about you ever again, like somebody else who was on the podcast.
Oh no!
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Dang.
You can't end the show on that like
That's terrible.
that bummer.
Well, let me end the show with what my thoughts are on the Snake Tales.
Fuck 'em.
What was that? What was that?
I'm sorry. Tell me how you really feel.
Okay.
There
The
you, there
snake
you
tails,
go.
so it's just as like a final note. The snake tails is like what happens when you take your grandma, who wait for it. You take your grandma who calls all the systems Nintendo, and then you explain the plot of Metal Gear Solid to her, and knowing a couple of names, decides that she can write Metal Gear Solid, and that's what snake tails are.
I feel like the 8-year-old child with the box of crayons that wrote the Fast and the Furious movies tried to take a stab at.
I fucking love the
Man.
Fast and the Furious movies. God damn it.
But yeah, they're really weird, man. It's so for however much we sound like delirious kids at a sleepover party, like laughing at stupid shit at 3 o'clock in the morning, like the Snake Tails will immediately feel like those exact same kids like made a Metal Gear game. But yeah. Yeah, so I feel like we've hate fucked the Snake Tails into
Wait.
oblivion. Is there,
Yeah.
is
On a
there-
side note, I was on the menu, the start menu.
so you did do that much.
Yep. And I hit the left trigger button.
Ooh.
You know what that did? Can you guess?
What that did.
Does it change the color? I can't remember.
Nuh-uh.
Does it make a gun sound?
It's either a gun sound or a lightning.
Oh yeah, and like the
Sound.
screen flashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can also move the right analog stick and it'll move the background.
Yeah, and changes colors and stuff like that.
So I wanted to ask a quick question that I forgot to ask these last couple episodes. So when you first start Metal Gear Solid 2, the menu is like a red screen with a character on it, and then after you beat it, it's a blue screen with Raiden on it. Who is the character on the red screen? Is that Snake? Is that supposed to be Snake or Solidus? Or
No,
somebody?
it's Snake.
Is it Snake?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like Snake. It looks like he has a beard. He looks like some weird, like, beardy dude.
Troll
Eight
man.
man.
Yeah. No, it's Snake because Snake has a beard at the beginning of this game.
Well, not like that.
That's true.
That
Well, it's like a hyper
beardy
stylized.
beard.
But yeah.
Beardy beard.
It's trying to trick us all.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I guess that is Snake. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, right on. That is pretty much the episode for the week. So we're kind of breaking this up. Typically, we record the mainline episodes and the side ops back to back. But this week, we're not doing that. So you have like a couple days to send us your feedback on the extra content if you want us to talk about it. And any stories that you have about the VR mission, skateboarding, boss rush, Snake Tails, any of that
Snake
stuff.
Tails.
Yeah, so please tell us about Snake Tails because it is fucking impossible to find people talking about Snake Tails online. And if anybody wants to take a stab at trying to defend them, like I'm willing to see what the
if
fuck
somebody
you gotta
wants to
say.
if somebody wants to take a stab at defending them, I will tell them why they're wrong.
Yeah, so please write in, give us something to talk about.
Except for Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell's untouchable.
Oh man, I really want to see concept art of Matt Campbell, please, because my imagination's running wild with what
Yeah.
he must look like.
Like one of our new fans, what is Liquid Metal Mike?
Mm-hmm.
If you could doodle Matt Campbell on your bench for us, that'd be great.
Oh god. Well, right on. Sam, do you want to tell people where they can find us and what they can do to support us?
Yeah, sure. That sounded really disingenuous. So you can go online, go to.
Or don't, because Sam's being a sarcastic asshole.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I just.
All right.
Yeah, sure. Let's go into the magical world of promotion. Anyway, you can go online, geekci.me. You can find the rest of the show and our other shows there. We just put out a new show. We're putting them out left and right, called That's the Question this past Friday. It's the show that kind of sits in our off week on the Geek Time podcast, where we just kind of sit down and answer random questions that nobody really cares about, or really thought to ask. but we're answering them.
So this is a really compelling promotion for this show
No, it's
that
actually-
I don't
it's
want to
actually-
listen to anymore.
No, it's funny. Well, it's actually pretty interesting. It's like I can't remember exactly what this past one was about because I haven't edited it yet. But I know like the next episode that comes out is going to be like if you could take the 4 main sports like things. So if you like NFL, baseball, basketball, and hockey, I think it was,
What
and you
about
could
Major
take
League Soccer?
no. For the sake of the question, it was just those big 4.
Okay.
But if you could take those four, and then take their players and put them into the different sports that you had available to you, what would you put where? Just like weird questions like that. So tune into that. That's actually a pretty interesting show. So you can go on the website there. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geektimepod. You can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/geektimepod. We upload all of our shows to SoundCloud, so you can listen to them there, soundcloud.com/geektimepod. You can also help us out if you want to by going to patreon.com/geektimepod and donating money there, or you can go to our donate page, which is at geekti.me/wp/donate to find out information about Patreon, or you can use our Amazon affiliate link to help us get kickbacks for things that you buy without having to spend an extra penny, which is awesome. And then, as always, iTunes, rate, review, subscribe, things like that.
Sweet. And at some point in the near future, hopefully we'll have a P.O. box somewhere so you can send us your doodles.
Deals.
Yeah. Well, right on. It's been a long week, guys. We're pretty exhausted. I wanted to really briefly apologize for the last 2 episodes where my mic quality dipped. Essentially, I was using a loaner microphone. And between those episodes and this episode, I actually worked in Indiana for about a week for like 16 hours a day on a film. So apologize if the Facebook page has not been as active and all that jazz. But we are back into the swing of things. And yeah, expect some good new content. As we mentioned at sort of the top of the show, the next episode will be a side op. Then we're going to do kind of a micro episode that might feature one of us, 2 of us, or all 3 of us on Metal Gear Acid. And then it'll be followed by one on Metal Gear Acid 2. And then I guess we're going to be jumping into Metal Gear Solid 3.
Holy hell.
Finally. But we are going to figure out how we're going to break those episodes down. We might originally start with kind of the Virtuous mission, which is the beginning of the game, or we might kind of start with kind of background, pro tips, kind of intro episode, just kind of talking about MGS3 as a whole. Kind of depends on the guests that we have reached out to and that we are waiting to hear back from. And kind of also depends on kind of making time to cut into the game and play through it between now and then. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Isaac, do you want to plug anything?
I'd
That was a
like
good
to
Sam
plug-
impersonation.
As given. Well, I need to plug my phone in to the wall pretty soon.
Oh, I got a random tweet from a listener who created a Twitter account just to tweet at me.
What?
Was it doesn't have a twit
No,
too?
it's not. I wish. But I thought it was pretty good.
Oh,
We'll read that tweet
Yeah.
on the next episode.
I will say on the next episode,
Okay.
Will you?
I will be live tweeting for the very first time.
Oh my god. You can't live tweet if it's not live.
Well, Isaac will be live tweeting the recording session sometime next week.
Oh god.
If you guys want, I'll post onto Facebook the link to Isaac's
When it's
profile so
happening.
we can check it out.
And a countdown.
Yeah.
And then
We'll do a countdown to a countdown and then a countdown to the actual tweeting.
Yep.
And then Isaac will just tweet one tweet while we're
Yep.
recording.
That's
And it'll
sucks.
just be a question mark.
Yeah, this sucks.
But yeah, so tune in next week to see if all of the listener responses are from TJ. And
or
Oh,
are they?
I'm kidding. Yeah, Sam, what can people try to not forget?
Oh God. Well, I forget. It's like, and then, but then also, but if you really think about it, but also, and then it's
You know
like,
what
you know what I'm saying?
This is pretty good, Reggie Watts.
Isaac, can you help me out here? 'Cause
You
he's not
guys
getting it.
are really good at impersonations.
No, Isaac, seriously, this fool's not getting me. Help me out.
All right. Well, it's like, yeah, kind of where the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I think I get it. Is it Are you guys talking about the Deadpool movie that comes out tomorrow, as of the recording time?
Dude.
What?
It's just a box.
Good job, you did it.
Just a box.